We have been tricked, bamboozled. And guess what? We hate each other for it today.
To the scripts, you're not black, Hispanic, Native American.
Colored.
No,
We've been
you
everything
are more
in the
than
book.
who these
Except
devils say that
we
you
are.
are. Straight from the line of Jacob. Jacob known as Israel. Israel held the light. God said in the light will be the one to get the kingdom. The kingdom that rules them all. Kingdom that rules them. Yeah.
We're talking about the laws of God. That's what the truth is.
Este pelo, miren, este es pelo lana, hermana. Sí. The Bible calls the so-called black man from the nation of Israel.
It's in His commandments, and that's what causes you and changes you from being imperfect to perfect.
Anything that comes out of man's mouth that's not from the Bible is a liar. So I'm going to bring everything from the Bible.
Hey, brother. Hermano, brother, what was your name again? Brian, come here, brother. Come here.
Hey, you can even bring your chair if you want. You can even bring your chair.
All right, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
You good, bro?
I like listening.
All praises, brother. Hey, you want a water? You want a Gatorade, brother? You want to get? All right, get the brother.
I got it.
All right, all praises. Now let's check this out. So now, brother, the other brother that was here earlier, the older man, right? The one that walked away, he was talking a whole lot, right? But why wasn't he here before we was here? Why was, as him as an older man, why wasn't he here trying to teach our people? Because that brother lacks understanding.
Right.
What we have to find out, brothers, is that we are the men that God are raising up to teach the people and teach them who they are.
Right.
Let's go read that.
Chapter 9, verse 16. For the leaders of this people caused them to err.
You see, the Bible says that the leaders of his people have caused them to what? Err. Meaning to be destroyed, to lack understanding, to not know how to do things right for their own people.
Right.
Who do we look as our leaders, brother? Who? Like in the neighborhoods, like you got tattoos. I don't know you from the neighborhood or not, but in the neighborhoods you got gang leaders, right? Hey, shalom, brother. Come here. What's your name? Jake, brother Jake. Stick around for a minute, brother. We're talking about our leaders today. So now our leaders, brother, the Bible says that our leaders have caused us to err, meaning to be destroyed and not have no understanding.
Right.
Guess what? Our parents were supposed to be our leaders.
Right.
We look to our, and since our parents ain't there, we look to the neighborhoods, our big homies as leaders. And guess what? The Bible says they cause us to err, to be destroyed.
Right.
You see this, brother? All this that happened to us is because the leaders of our people have failed us.
Right.
Our parents have failed us, our families have failed us. Why? Because a leader is supposed to help us and instruct us in how to be men, how to teach our young children, how to teach our sons and daughters how to behave like men,
Right.
and the daughters to behave like princesses.
Right.
None of our leaders today have done that.
Right.
None of them. Read that again.
For the leaders of this people caused them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed.
See that? The Bible says that they that are led of these false leaders, he says that they are destroyed. How are we destroyed? Hosea 4 start at verse 1. Hosea 4:1, brother. How do you think our people are destroyed today? How do you think, Gad? How do you think they're destroyed? Let's use examples. We have to understand that the Bible, when we read this Bible, it ain't a great mystery. It ain't something that we can understand. We just gotta look around us and see that the Bible prescribe and describe our condition from the beginning. And we're gonna be able to understand it if we just simply read it.
Right.
Now, Gad, how are our people destroyed today?
They mislead us.
So how are we destroyed, brother? How? Give examples.
They mislead us by making us fight our own. And
Making us fight our own. How about you, brother? How do you think our people are destroyed? Just look at your community and the neighborhoods you live in. How are we destroyed? What do you see your people? What conditions do you see them in?
They're jealous of each other. They envy each other.
Through envy. So through envy you have what? Hatred. Through hatred you do what? You commit murders. How do you hate your people? When you sell drugs to your people. How do you hate your people? when you prostitute your sisters, when you have them as girlfriends, you sleep with one, you leave that one, you go to the next. That's how you hate your people. That is self-hatred. Why? We are destroyed because we don't know who we are, brother. And we don't understand that the God of Israel is our God. But we don't know that because we don't know who we are. So let's go ahead and read.
There's the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. Because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
You see that? God says that we are destroyed. Then go to verse 6. Because there is no truth, there is no mercy. Look at our people, brother. We're quick to go and hurt each other. We're very quick to pick up a gun and murder each other. That's why we got hundreds of black and Hispanic brothers in the prison system. Because of murders that we commit against each other. But guess what? When we look at the industry, the prison systems, at the school system, the destruction of our people, and who did it, we never go up against them. Who destroyed our people, brother? You tell me. Who stole our lands, God? Who did it? The Europeans. The Europeans stole our land. You're from Mexico, right, brother? Your moms, your parents from. Who stole the land from the Mexicans? Who did? The white people, right? But do you see the Hispanic and the black men rising up against them?
Bring it out.
No. That's not to say that that's what we're supposed to do. Listen, I'm not saying that that's what we're supposed to go and do, because that's not what we're supposed to do. I'm just showing you that we'll kill our own people, but we won't go do that to the people that actually murdered us in the millions. That's why there is no mercy, brother. We'll sell drugs to each other. What is that? You making a buck off for your brother, that you killing him with that drug? That is no mercy, that is hatred. God said, he said there is no knowledge of God. Meaning, guess what? You have hundreds of churches up and down your block. But God says there is no true understanding of the real God in the Bible in those churches. Now let's read on, verse 6.
Verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. That thou shalt be no priest to me.
Now give me Isaiah 1 and 3. God says that his people, Gad, remember, you're a leader. Now you know you're from the tribe of Gad, brother. All praises, but now what? Is that just for you to hang on to it? Or is it for you to share it to your brothers? For what? To share it, brother. That's right. God says that our people are destroyed because we lack knowledge. Knowledge of what? Of how to serve God. Knowledge of who we are. We can't serve the God of this Bible if we don't know who we are. We don't, brother. What's your nationality? What is it? You're mixed. What's your father? Your pops is from Guatemala, and your mom is Mexican. So according to the scriptures, brother, you're whatever your father is. So if you're from Guatemala, check this out right here. You belong to the tribe of Zebulun. Okay, the Mayans, brother. The Mayans are from the tribe of Zebulun. The Mayans, even they knew at one time who they were. You know that when the Spaniards came over in 1492, that they brought Hebrew translators to help them conversate with the Mayans and the Aztecs, because they knew that we was the real Israelites. They knew this, and I'm going to show you out the scriptures. But remember, God said that his people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. The knowledge is we don't understand who we are, and that is a fundamental part, a fundamental teaching and truth that we must learn first. Let's read it.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider.
Now you hear that? God said that an ox and an ass, these are two animals, brother. Animals, these should be dumb animals compared to us human beings. They should be, right? But guess what? He said that at least these two animals, they know where they come from. They know their God. We don't know that, brother. We say we're Mexicans, we say we're Salvadorians, we say we're Hispanics. We would say all these things, but we like to understand that originally we come from Jerusalem. We like to understand that, guess what? This life started there. That our beginning begins all the way back there. We have lost that. He says that the Israelites don't know who they are.
Right.
That is how we know we're the Israelites, brother. Because you said it earlier, you're a Guatemalteco, you're Hispanic. Well, that ain't real. That does not exist.
Right.
Guatemala or Guatemalteco, this was a term given to us by the Europeans.
Right.
You understand it? Mexican means center of the moon.
Right.
Hispanic means property of Spain.
Right.
These are all names that was given to us.
Right.
Now let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. We have to understand that the history that is recorded in the scriptures has been hidden from us for too long, brother.
Right.
Have you gone to church in your life? You went a long time ago, but you still believe in God, right? You must believe in God, brother, because just look around you. Everything that we have around here, brother, this could not have existed if a God wouldn't have created it, brother.
Right.
And a lot of brothers just like you, brother, I grew up in the Christian church. A lot of us do. We lose a sense of God or understanding. Why? Because the church destroys us. The church teaches us lies.
Right.
The church never taught you who you were.
Right.
That's how you know that church was a lie.
Right.
The very first thing you must learn is who you are. How can you know how to fix the problems in your community if you don't even know how the problem started from the first place?
Right.
And I'm going to show you right now. The Bible tells us how our problems began. First, let's start at Deuteronomy 28 and 1. To understand our proper place in this world,
That's right.
we have to first understand where our proper place was supposed to be.
Right.
Read.
Here's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now, what did God just say right there? What did he say, brother? Let's read it again. You're looking at that. Let's read it again. This is what you have to listen to, brother. Listen while you're watching, brother, and that's going to help you understand. Read it again.
And it shall come to pass.
It's going to happen. This is a future prophecy that happened. You know the history, right, of Moses. You've heard that story of Moses, the Egyptians. We've all read this when we was kids. We all seen it in movies. So Moses brought out the Israelites out of Egypt.
Right.
We were slaves in Egypt for over 400 years, right? So after they came out, Moses gave the Israelites prophecies and laws to live by.
Right.
Prophecies that God gave to him to pass on.
Right.
Now this is what he told them. Read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So he said if we hearken, meaning if we listen, if we do what God has told us to do, read on.
Nations of the earth.
You see that? God said that if we keep his laws and commandments, he was going to be putting us on high.
Right.
Meaning we was going to be in rulership, brother. That's why our people today, that's why they look for power. Our people are very power hungry. That's why you got what? You got Mexican mafias, you got the what else you have? The blacks in the prison system creating power, right? Our people are always searching for power, right? Because we understand, we know it within us that we were supposed to be ruling.
Right.
But we don't understand that the rulership that we were supposed to be in was the rulership of governing the whole world.
Right.
Not just a street corner, not just the neighborhood, but the whole planet Earth. And the only way we were going to be able to achieve that is if we keep the laws,
Bring it out.
the
Right.
commandments. Now I'm going to ask you, brother, when you look around you and your peoples, do we keep laws? Do we keep the commandments that God gave us? We don't. And it's very easy. It's very easy to understand that if we keep these laws, we would be up above all people. And in that we understand that God always made a difference between us and every other nation.
Right.
We were supposed to govern. We were supposed to be out here. Like, look at our sister right there. She's selling these fruits, right? We were supposed to be doing that. The sister was supposed to be governing with her husband in great countries, great lands, not selling fruits by the dollars. We were supposed to be doing that. But our people have forgotten that this God gave us this world to rule, but we forgot because we don't keep his laws. Now let's go to verse 15. This is now the condition that we're in. Verse 1 told us what would happen if we would obey him. We were supposed to be ruling. But now let's see the condition that we're actually in. Read.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments.
Hold on, let's read it again. They never read it again.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now listen, brother. This is the part that I really need y'all to really pay attention to. This is the other side of the coin, right? This is the flip side. He's saying, this is gonna happen. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now listen, brother. This is the part that I really need y'all to really pay attention to. This is the other side of the coin, right? This is the flip side. He's saying, this is gonna happen. Read it again.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So now God is saying, if we don't hearken, if we don't do what God is saying to do, read on.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
So if we do not keep the laws of God, read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now let's look at this, brother. So now God said, if we don't keep the commandments that he gave us, the laws that if we were to keep these, brothers, our people would not be in this condition. He said we would get put in curses. Our people will be afflicted. That's what he said. Now let's look at verse 16. Read it. Read verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
So now one of the curses would be that our people would be cursed in the cities. Now just look around you, brother. Just consider the condition of your people right now. Are we not being murdered by the dozens every week? Not just by the police, not just by them, but also by our own hand. Our own brothers is doing this to each other. Is that a good thing? Is that a cursed thing, brother? You've been through the prison system? You haven't? Well, we've been there. A lot of our brothers do. Guess who's in there?
Bring it out.
Do you know people in the prison system? Yes. You got family in the prison system? Most our people do. Most of us do. You've been in it yourself. That is a curse, brother. That's why they have so many prisons around our countries, around our states, and they're filled up by the blacks and Hispanics. This curse has fed us. That's how we know, guess what? The black and Hispanic, we are one. We are the same. We are not different. We're the same brothers and sisters. Read it again.
Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
You see that he said we'll be cursed in the city, and then we will be cursed in the field. Now, brother, in the field, if you go back into history, let's go back to 1492, right? When the conquistadores llegaron, when they got here, what did they put us to do, brother? Yes, they put us in slavery. They put us in the mines. They put us in the caña fields, the sugar cane. Guess who was picking all that? We were. All the sugar that was being spread and transported in that time in the 1400s, guess who did it? We did. The so-called Hispanics, the Mayans and the Aztecs. Guess who benefited off of that?
Bring it out.
The other people, not us. You see that? That is being cursed in the field. Now let's go today. Who do you see working the fields? The Mexicans. Yes. Yup. They pick it. They pick the fruits. They pick the vegetables. And guess what? We don't make no money for it. We don't. Now then we pick it. Now we send it, transport it to the big corporations, to the grocery stores, which we don't own. And who profit? The white people, the Chinese people. And guess what? Who else was working in the fields? In 1619, what happened during that time? Do you know that date? 1619, that's when our so-called black brothers, so-called African Americans, they went into slavery, brother. They got brought in slave ships. And when they got brought here, what happened to, where were they working? In the cotton fields. You see how it's same thing, brother? The blacks and Hispanic, same thing. Same thing, brother. Now let's read out verse 48.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
You see, God said we'll be serving them. He called them our enemies, brother.
That's right.
We are so carnal, brother, and so based in our understanding, meaning low. We are so based in our understanding that we look at each other as enemies. And the other nations, they laugh at us. They see us killing each other.
Right.
They're like, look at these spics. That's why, yeah, they call us spics and they get away with it. We don't say nothing. We don't do nothing. You know, God says that, guess what? The enemies are those real nations. They have true power over us, not each other. He said that we will serve them. So guess what? Today, the job that you work, brother, the job that you work, you're serving your enemy.
Right.
You weren't supposed to be working the way you're working right now, brother. You weren't supposed to do that. Let's read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
See, God said we will be serving them in thirst,
Right.
in nakedness. I must tell you something. This is why we have to really read. That's why we really have to read, brother, and really research. Because if you go, what is that? Peru. Peru, is that the country where they were selling the water?
Right.
Peru, right? Peru, brother, Peruvians, they're our brother. They're from the tribe. It's in Naphtali, Asher. They're from the tribe of Asher. They're our brothers. Guess what the government was doing over there? The United States went to Peru, and guess what they was doing? They created a company over there to steal the water from the natives.
Right.
And they were stealing that water and selling it back to the people.
Right.
It got so bad that guess what they did? They tried to create a law to where they were taxing the people if they collected rainwater.
Right.
There's a movie called Even the Rain. Even the Rain. Look it up, brother. This is why it's very important for us to stop getting our minds out of the damn music, out of this damn filthy ass music videos.
Right.
Stop doing that. Actually research about your people.
Right.
Look that movie up. It's in Spanish and English. It's called Even the Rain.
Right.
También la lluvia. And you're going to see the government went over there. They was taxing the people for the rain. So let's read that part again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
And you see, God said he sent them against us.
Right.
Even these people, the nations that destroyed us, they have no power to do what they want, brother. God says we continue having this destruction to our own people because we continue to disobey, and he continues to send them against us.
Right.
So when you see a cop, a white cop killing a black or Hispanic brother, it's because God allowed that.
Right.
It's called judgment.
Right.
Judgment for disobeying him.
Right.
God is going to continue sending these people against us because we disobey him.
Right. Right.
Let's read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness.
God said we are serving them in hunger, brother. Hunger meaning the food. All these companies, we don't own them. We have to go to them. I told you earlier about the fruits and vegetables and all that. We pick it, but guess what? We can't take it home with us. We got to give it to our, guess what? Our slave master. We give it to our slave master. They send it to the store. And then even though we picked it, we still have to go back to the store and buy it back.
Right.
You see that? In hunger we serve them. In what?
In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness.
Our clothing, brother. The clothes that we have off our backs. Who do we get that clothing from? The stores. We don't own them. And you know, in downtown LA, brother, there's a lot of sweatshops right there in the buildings. I have family members that actually work there. They work in those buildings in downtown LA. Guess who owns a lot of those companies in downtown LA where they're sewing? The Chinese. The Chinese, brother. And guess who's working in those stores, though? The Mexicans. There's a lot of Guatemaltecos there. There's a lot of, those are sweatshops. Who's profiting out of it? Not us. But guess what? We don't have that simple understanding. If we were to get our money together, brother, and create a company that is going to benefit us, we don't do that. We don't think like that. We think for ourselves. We think to sell drugs. We sell drugs to our brothers in our neighborhood.
Right.
You got one brother that made it. But the rest of your community is now destroyed because you sold that drug to them that made you become rich.
Right.
Now let's read on.
In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Now you know how we read earlier that God said that we were destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? Now let's read that last part again, the yoke.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
A yoke of iron. You brothers know what that is talking about? You know what a yoke of iron? A yoke, brother, it's called a chain. It's called a collar around your neck.
Right.
So yes, brother, in 1492, brother, In 1492, the Spaniards, the Italians, the Portuguese, all these European countries, they came and they enslaved us. Just like this. They put collars around our necks. They put collars around our feet, our hands. They had us in slavery for hundreds of years, right? So guess what? God said that they will put yokes of iron around our necks, and then what?
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he destroyed us, meaning once he knew that we was destroyed mentally, that they would be able to control us mentally, they took them off. And even though in this time, brother, we was in slavery, at least we knew we were slaves. And we fought back. We fought back. You had who? Like Montezuma, right? Montezuma, he fought back. Right, what was the other one? Yanga, Cuauhtemoc. These were Mayans, these were natives. They fought back because they actually understood the conditions that were in. They knew they were slaves. But our people today, they don't even know they're slaves. Why? Because these Europeans, they did a great job. That's why God says that once they knew that we was destroyed mentally, that they will take these chains off. And they will no longer need to use themselves. Now they use our own people to destroy us. They use our own people, brother. Let's read that again.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Now let's identify these people. God said these people, he will send them from the far ends of the earth. Now, look at that right there, brother. Let's read that part again. So when the Europeans came over, right? Where did they come from? Were they right next door to the Guatemaltecos? Were they right next door? Were they our neighbors? Were they? Where did they came from? Well, you know, Gad? Where they come from, Gad? Huh?
Europe.
From Europe. Europe is on the other side of the world. Let's read it again.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Now let's see if we're still under slavery, brother. Remember, he said that they would take the yokes of iron once he knew it was destroyed. So now this country, these people, he said that they're like as swift as an eagle. So what are the characteristics of an eagle? What does an eagle do? What kind of bird is an eagle? A predatory. Meaning it's able to prey on other animals. Meaning it's a killer. It looks for other weaker animals to kill. So guess what? This nation that God sent against us, he said they are compared to an eagle. That's why they continue destroying us. They see us as weak men. We are weak men. So now look at those eagles right there. What countries had the eagle? Who do you have there? You had what? The Greeks. Then you had the Romans. You had the Spaniards. And you have America.
Right.
Look at the back of the dollar bill.
What do you have on the back of the dollar bill? The eagle. So the people that God said he sent against us is who? These people. So the Greeks, the Romans, the Spaniards, America, Russia, guess what? They're all the same people, brother. They're all the same people. You see, the people that were from the beginning, they're not gone. Just like the Israelites, God's people, they're not gone, brother. They're just lost. That's why when Christ said, I came from a lost sheep, guess what? We are those lost sheep.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. Take care of us. And our children too. We have abandoned. How are you? People want to know, who's the king?
O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. O nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God?
say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd. For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sound wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.